You ever plan your own birthday party just to feel forgotten at it? That's where this story starts. My name's Leela. I'm 29. I work as a dental hygienist in Kansas City, Missouri, and if there's one thing you should know about me, it's this. I'm the family fixer, the peacekeeper, the quiet one who sends the thank you texts on behalf of everyone else, the one who catches the mistakes in group plans, reminds people of birthdays, sends that extra Venmo when someone forgets their wallet. I've been doing that since I was a kid. My family is complicated. We're blended, loud, a mix of step this and half that. Holidays are chaos, and I'm the duct tape holding everything together. Nobody asked me to be. It's just what happens when you're the dependable one. When your no gets taken as an insult, but your yes gets treated like air. It's exhausting. But for a long time, I told myself it was love, or at least my way of earning it. Now, let me back up just a bit. This past year had been hard. Rent went up, my job laid off 2 people, and suddenly I was doing the work of 3. I was dating someone who ghosted me the day after Valentine's, and yet, I kept showing up for work, for family, for birthdays, baby showers, surprise proposals. I planned half of them. So when my own birthday was coming up, I didn't expect much. I never do. But then, something strange happened. My mom called me and said, "We want to do something nice for you this year." Those words alone made me sit up straighter. I remember staring at my phone, waiting for her to laugh or add a condition, but she didn't. "We want to celebrate you right," she said. "Pick a restaurant you like, we'll all chip in." I wanted to believe her, so I did. That night, I looked up spots in town that could host a group of 15. I found this cute downtown place with a cozy semi-private room, and I emailed them to check availability. A week later, I'd reserved it, $470 down. I covered it myself because, well, old habits. I told myself it was worth it, that maybe this year would feel different. My mom said she'd take care of the cake. "Don't worry, I'll get your favorite," she promised. "You remember what it is?" I asked. "Of course," she said, without hesitation. "Red velvet, with cream cheese frosting. That's been my go-to since I was 10. I spent the next few days texting out the group invite, collecting RSVPs, and coordinating the menu. I made sure to ask about food allergies, vegetarian needs, even who didn't like sitting near the AC. I also texted my little stepsister to help with a playlist. She left me on read. Still, I held on to hope. I imagined us all sitting together, maybe someone giving a toast, or lighting a candle, or even just saying, "Happy birthday, Lila." That was enough for me. That was the dream. The day before the dinner, I reminded my mom about the cake. She said, "I got it handled, don't stress." She didn't send a picture, wouldn't say where she got it. "It's a surprise," she said. And maybe it should have been a red flag. But you have to understand, when your whole life has been about hoping people notice you, you learn to ignore the signs. So I told myself it was fine, that this time maybe things would go right. Spoiler, they didn't. But before we get to the dinner and the cake, and the moment I realized exactly where I stood in my own family, I need to tell you what happened the day of. Because even then, hours before everything fell apart, I still thought maybe I mattered. I still thought maybe I'd be seen. The morning of my birthday dinner, I woke up early, not because I had a ton to do, but because my stomach was already in knots. You ever get that weird anxiety when something's supposed to go right for once? That pressure to not mess it up, even if none of it's actually your job? That was me. I kept checking my phone every 10 minutes. RSVP confirmations, texts from the restaurant. I even refreshed the group chat, hoping anyone would say, "Can't wait to celebrate you tonight, Leela." Nothing. Not one message. My mom didn't text either. I figured she was picking up the cake. At 1:47 p.m., I caved and texted, "Just checking in, everything good with the cake?" No reply. By 3 p.m., I drove over to the restaurant to make sure everything was still on track. The manager greeted me with a clipboard and a smile. "Yep, you're all set for 6:30. You bringing decorations?" Decorations? No one had mentioned any. I swallowed the lump in my throat and said, "Nope, just the cake." Then I whispered, "Hopefully." I went home and changed into the one dress I save for when I want to be noticed. Burgundy wrap dress. Fits like a dream. Even did my hair, soft curls, little shimmer in the eyeshadow. I looked in the mirror and told myself, tonight will be different. When I pulled up at 6:15, I saw my aunt and uncle already standing outside, laughing about parking. My cousin Jada posted a selfie in the group chat captioned, "Birthday vibes," and I wasn't in it. At 6:34, everyone had arrived, except for my mom. No call, no text, nothing. Just as I was about to step outside, the hostess walked in, carrying a big white pastry box with pink ribbons. "I think this is for your party?" she asked, handing it to me. It had no tag, no label, no sticker from a bakery. I smiled politely and took it, and as I opened the lid just a crack, my heart sank. It wasn't red velvet. It was some basic sheet cake with bright blue icing and balloons drawn in icing, like it was for a 7-year-old's Chuck E. Cheese party. No name, no message, no happy anything. My jaw clenched. I closed it before anyone else could see and handed it to the staff. "Please just bring it out after dinner," I said. At 7:12, the appetizers arrived. Spinach dip, shrimp cocktail, wings, none of which I had chosen. Apparently someone in the group had called ahead and customized the order. "I thought you were vegetarian?" my cousin Evan asked, already 2 cocktails in. "I am," I replied, "but it's fine." He shrugged. "More for us." At 7:35, the drink started flowing heavy. My little stepsister knocked back a mimosa and announced she was now technically an influencer because one of her Instagram reels hit 11K views. Everyone clapped. Someone even toasted to her. No one toasted to me. I tried to stay calm, tried to pretend this wasn't a slow-motion car crash with me, strapped in the front seat. Then, at 8:03, the waiter brought out the cake. I froze. It sat there in the center of the table like a taunt. My mom still hadn't shown up. Everyone gathered around, phones up, flash on. And then, they started slicing it. My aunt handed the first piece to Jada, second to Evan, third to her own husband. My cousin whispered, "Hey, wait, isn't this for Layla?" My aunt shrugged and said, "There's not that many pieces. She probably doesn't even eat dessert, right?" And then, this is the part I'll never forget. She looked right at me, gave a fake little smile, and turned away. They kept going. One by one, the slices disappeared. People posted photos. Someone even tagged it. Family first. And I just sat there. Watching them celebrate around a cake, meant for me, like I was invisible. No one offered me a piece. Not one. When the final slice was passed to my cousin's girlfriend, by the way, I stood up. Nobody noticed. I pulled my coat over my shoulders, walked over to the waiter and handed him my card. "Put the rest of the balance on here," I said, "and happy birthday to whoever the hell they think they're celebrating." He looked at me, confused. "You're not?" "No," I said, "not anymore." Then I turned and walked out. My phone buzzed just as I hit the door. It was from my mom. A single text. "Sorry, things came up. Hope it went well." I didn't reply. I didn't cry. I just drove. And 20 minutes later, I was sitting alone in my car, engine off, parked across from the river with a red velvet cupcake I bought myself. And that was the first bite I had all night. Sweet, dense, mine. I sat by the river, cupcake in hand, letting the silence soak in. No clinking glasses, no fake laughs, just me and the ripple of water under the moonlight. I took a bite, sweet, rich, unapologetic. It was the first time that night I tasted something real. I should have been angry, furious, even, but what I felt was something colder, like grief. Not the kind that comes from death, but the kind that comes from realizing people you love have been choosing not to love you back, for years. My phone buzzed again. Group chat. "Evan, that cake slapped though." "Jada, where'd Layla go?" "Aunt Carla. She left early. Probably tired. She's always tired. Lol. Mom. Well, it's not about cake, it's about family." I stared at that last message. It's not about cake, it's about family. Exactly. That's the problem. I clicked out, deleted the chat, blocked the thread, not because I was trying to be dramatic, but because something inside me finally snapped. For 29 years, I've been the glue, the scheduler, the reminder, the Venmo fairy, the quiet fixer who makes things smooth when nobody else remembers how. And tonight, they erased me like I'd never mattered. And for what? A cake with no name. It was nearly 10 p.m. when I finally drove home. Well, home was my tiny studio apartment over a laundromat, where the heater clicked like Morse code and the kitchen light flickered like a horror movie. But it was mine. I kicked off my shoes, sat on the floor with my back against the cabinets, and started scrolling Instagram just to zone out. But then I paused. Jada had already posted a birthday carousel. 10 photos, 8 of them had the cake, not a single one had me. In the caption, "Family means showing up. Yui #birthday vibes grateful." I wanted to throw my phone, but instead, I just stared. My fingers hovered over the screen, and then something odd happened. I opened a new account. Totally private. Just for me. No slice for Layla. That's what I typed into the handle field. It made me laugh, softly, bitterly. I uploaded a photo from earlier that week, a slice of mango cheesecake I had while alone on lunch break. Then a caption, "The best cake I ever had? The one I didn't have to share with people who forget I exist." I didn't expect anyone to see it. It was a whisper into the void. But posting it felt like taking a match to wet kindling inside me. The next morning, I woke up to 5 likes, one from a stranger, one from a bakery in Tulsa, one from an account called the Forgotten Daughter Club. I clicked. Their entire feed was filled with quotes like, "Sometimes silence is louder than an apology, and you're not selfish for choosing peace over people who take you for granted." I sat up in bed, heart racing. I followed them, and I followed every similar account I could find. My Explore page flooded with faces, women smiling in dessert shops, captions full of stories like mine. One post said, "I brought the candles. They didn't bring the respect." Another, "This year, I'm done earning love through labor." It hit me. I wasn't alone. Not even close. I posted again. This time, a photo of the cupcake wrapper on my car dashboard. Caption: last night I bought myself one slice. Sweetest thing I've tasted all year. Cheers to starting over. 20 likes, then 30, then a comment. This hit too close. I needed this today. You're not the only one. Followed. Please keep sharing. My heart thudded hard, not from fear, but from something I hadn't felt in months: validation. I stayed up half the night writing, drafting posts, remembering moments I had swallowed whole and never told anyone about. The Christmas when I wrapped gifts for everyone, and no one bought me anything. The graduation where I drove 2 hours for Jada, but she skipped mine because the weather was weird. The baby shower where I brought 40 cupcakes, only to be introduced as just a coworker. I had receipts. I had years of crumbs. And suddenly I realized I'd spent my whole life baking love from scratch, but no one ever returned the recipe. Until now? Until strangers on the internet said, "I see you." It was terrifying. It was electric. I hit post again. And this time, I didn't flinch. The next morning, I walked into the dental clinic. Scrubs on, hair slicked back, pretending nothing had shifted, but something had. I wasn't the same Layla who always swallowed hurt with a smile. I'd been humiliated on my own birthday, and it had finally sharpened me. Even Dr. Miller, who usually didn't notice much outside of molars and x-rays, paused as I walked by. "You good?" he asked. I gave the safest lie I knew. Just tired. But under my mask, I was wired, surging with a strange mix of fury and clarity. At lunch, I opened my burner Instagram again at No Slice for Layla, now had 317 followers. I blinked. My last post, about wrapping everyone else's gifts but never getting one, had over 1,100 likes. And then my phone rang. Unknown number, Kansas City area code. I almost let it go to voicemail, but I was too curious. "Hello?" A woman's voice, chipper, but nervous. "Hi, is this Layla? Sorry to bother you, but, I found your page last night. Someone I follow reshared it. Your post about the mango cheesecake, I felt that." I was stunned. "Oh, wow, thank you." She continued. "I run this dessert pop-up here in town, Sugar Therapy KC. We do these community events for women who've been through stuff. Would you ever want to partner on something? Even just talk?" It felt like my brain short-circuited. Not even 48 hours ago, I was scraping icing off my own pride, and now strangers wanted to work with me? I told her I'd think about it, but my hands were already typing a yes, before I could doubt it. That night, I skipped the family group chat, didn't even open it. Instead, I posted a close-up shot of the cake for my birthday, the one my cousin's girlfriend devoured. Caption: "If they forget you at your own table, build a new one, with velvet chairs and a place card that says, 'Said, you matter.'" The comments rolled in faster this time. "Leela, this gave me chills. Saving this, thank you. Following you on everything." But of course, not every reaction was warm. 2 hours later, my mom texted, "Mom, why are you telling the internet our private business? Your cousin saw your post, said you're being dramatic. You had your slice, Leela, you just didn't see it." That last one hit me sideways. You had your slice, you just didn't see it. Like I was supposed to chew through disrespect and be grateful for the crumbs. I didn't reply. Instead, I went live. It was 11:02 p.m. I sat in my car, parked outside the 24-hour CVS, phone propped up on the dashboard, headlights off. "Hey," I started, voice soft but steady. "This isn't about cake, it's about silence. About how easy it is to erase someone when they're always the one folding the chairs and sending the reminders. My name is Leela, I'm 29, and 2 days ago my family forgot me on my own birthday. I talked for 15 minutes straight. I cried once. But I didn't apologize for it. By morning, the video had 18,000 views. By lunchtime, 60,000. Brands started following me. A bakery in Atlanta DM'd to send me a sampler box. BuzzFeed Food left a comment, "This is heartbreaking and beautiful, would love to feature you." Meanwhile, the family chat lit up like wildfire. "Jada, wow, you really want to blow this up like that?" "Cousin Devin, this is embarrassing for everyone." "Mom, I can't believe you'd air this dirty laundry." "Aunt Carla, we should have left you out for real if this is how you repay us." No apologies. Just guilt. Control. Classic. But I didn't cry this time. Instead, I screenshotted their messages, blurred their names, and posted this: "When you stop being useful, people show you who they've always been." That one hit 100K in 12 hours. I wasn't just talking anymore. I was exposing a truth that thousands felt but never said aloud. My notifications blew up. "This account is therapy." My mom did the same thing. "You're giving voice to something I never had the words for." And the best part? I was starting to feel whole again. Not because strangers liked my photos, but because for once, I wasn't swallowing my pain for the sake of peace. I was plating it. Frosted. Sharp. Served cold. And people were eating it up. The following Sunday, I was in line at a bakery in downtown Kansas City, one of those cozy places with checkerboard tiles and handwritten chalk menus, when I got the text from my little sister. You might want to check Aunt Carla's Facebook. My stomach nodded. I stepped out of line, opened the app, and scrolled. There it was. Aunt Carla had posted a public rant. I don't usually post drama, but I'm sick of people twisting the truth for attention. Some folks want a pity party more than they ever wanted a real one. We always included her. Maybe if she wasn't always so sensitive, she'd see that. Below it, dozens of comments. Who's she talking about? Girl, you don't owe anybody anything. Exactly. Some people just love to be victims. And then the cherry on top. My cousin Devin commented, a slice of cake emoji followed by, some folks just mad they didn't get dessert. Boo-hoo? I felt the blood rush to my cheeks. I wasn't just being erased. Now I was being rewritten. They were framing me as the problem. As if I had imagined the missing slice, the empty seat, the laughter. As if my truth wasn't real unless they approved it. I put my phone away and didn't even buy the pastry, just left. But my steps were heavy with decision. I couldn't let this slide. That night, I posted again. A carousel. The first photo was a smiling group of my family at the restaurant, clearly with the cake in the background. The second photo, me, sitting alone, at a different table, no plate, no smile. Caption. If you have to lie to look kind, you were never kind to begin with. It didn't just go viral. It exploded. Influencers with millions of followers shared it. Local radio hosts quoted it. Someone tweeted, Leela deserves the whole bakery and a hug. But with every share came more heat. More silence from my mom. More group chats I wasn't in anymore. I got a call from my uncle. Didn't even say hello? Just started yelling. You think it's okay to drag your family's name through the mud? For likes? You got your 15 minutes. Take the damn post down before you really burn a bridge you can't rebuild. Click. No apology. Just threats and shame. But something had shifted inside me. The old Layla, the fixer, the silence-swallowing peacekeeper, might have cried, might have gone into damage control, might have sent a long apologetic message to smooth it all over. But not this time. Instead, I posted a video. I didn't cry in this one either. I smiled. Hey y'all, I said. Quick PSA, if your family's mad at you for telling the truth, you were never safe with them in the first place. I'm not taking anything down. I'm not naming names. I'm sharing my experience. If the shoe fits, maybe they laced it themselves. The comments came faster than ever. I needed this today. Thank you for reminding me I'm not crazy. You just described my Thanksgiving. But then came the DM. From a local journalist. Hi Layla, your story is resonating across KC. Would you consider doing a profile? We'd love to spotlight how one woman turned exclusion into empowerment. My first reaction? Terror. My second? Pride. I said yes. We met 2 days later at a cafe. I wore my favorite yellow blouse, the one I bought but never wore because I was saving it for a special occasion. Turns out, healing is a special occasion. The interview was raw, honest, cathartic. And when the article dropped, the headline read, No Slice for Layla, How One Woman's Birthday Breakdown Sparked a Movement. I printed it out, framed it. Put it next to a slice of chocolate silk pie I bought that night just for me. But the suspense wasn't over. Because the day after the article ran, my phone rang again. Blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. And when I played it back, my heart stopped. This is your mother. We need to talk. You've embarrassed us long enough. You will regret this if you don't stop. She didn't sound sad. She sounded furious. But I didn't feel scared anymore. I felt certain, because for the first time I was being seen, not as their errand runner, not as their emotional dustpan, but as someone who mattered, who had a story worth telling. And I wasn't done yet. Not even close. The voicemail from my mother replayed in my head for days. Her tone didn't say I'm hurt. It screamed I'm threatened. I didn't call back. Instead, I bought a small whiteboard and wrote 5 words on it. You don't owe them silence. I propped it beside my laptop every morning before work and every night before bed. Because the silence had cost me enough. But that didn't mean the fallout stopped. My younger sister texted, You should come talk to Mom. She's crying. I almost believed it, almost drove back, but then she added, If you just say sorry, this can all go away. Sorry? For what? For spending my own money? For sitting through my own birthday like a stranger? For telling the truth without naming a single name? I left it on read. 2 days later, the story got picked up by a national blog that focuses on millennial family drama. They titled it, The Cake Slice Heard Around the Internet. Funny how something so small, a missing name on frosting, an uneaten piece, could set off an emotional earthquake. But it wasn't about the cake. It never was. It was about being disposable. I got messages from women in Atlanta, Queens, Omaha, Bakersfield. Some had been left out of weddings. Others had been the unacknowledged babysitter or unpaid nurse to dying relatives. One woman messaged, "Your story gave me permission to stop begging for crumbs." That message hit me so hard I cried for the first time since the dinner. But the high didn't last, because 3 weeks later, I heard there was another family birthday party. This time for my cousin Kayla. It was at the same restaurant, the same corner table, the same floral cake designer I had picked out. But this time, I wasn't invited. Not even a polite, "We figured you were busy." And guess what? That was the first time I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel forgotten. I felt free. So while they passed around another overpriced buttercream, I planned something else. My own celebration. It wouldn't be a revenge party. It wouldn't be a pity party. It would be a rebirth party. I found a rooftop lounge in Crossroads that let you rent by the hour. The space overlooked the Kansas City skyline and had gold bistro lights, velvet couches, and a dessert table big enough to park a car on. I called it the first slice. The invite list was short. Some coworkers, 3 Instagram followers I'd bonded with over DMs, my neighbor, Alicia, who once brought me soup when I had a cold, and not a single person from my bloodline. I wore red velvet from the dress to the heels, and on the dessert table, a 5-layer red velvet cake with gold icing, and this time my name was piped in perfect script. "Happy first slice, Layla." We danced, took selfies. I gave a little toast, not about revenge, but about remembrance. About what it means to choose yourself, even when no one claps. Afterward, I posted one photo. No caption. Just me holding that perfect slice, smiling in the candlelight. It went viral. Again. But something even bigger happened the next week. I got an email. Subject: Influencer Opportunity. Food Network collab? I blinked twice. They wanted to feature me in a digital mini-series about dessert creators with unexpected stories. I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently, "No slice for Layla" had become more than a phrase. It was a movement. I sat in my tiny apartment, because I still couldn't afford much, and read the email 5 times. And that's when my phone rang again. This time, my dad. We hadn't spoken in months. He'd stayed out of the cake drama, which in family terms meant he picked a side without picking up the phone. His voice was quiet. "Leela, I saw the article. I just wanted to say I'm proud of you." That stopped me cold. I waited for the catch. None came. "Sorry I didn't say anything sooner," he added. I just didn't realize how much you were carrying." It wasn't everything I needed, but it was something. And for the first time in a long time, I let someone say something kind without brushing it off. Because I'd learned this. Sometimes when family treats you like an afterthought, it's not your job to scream for attention. It's your job to go where your voice is heard the first time. And soon I'd be on a Food Network set telling my story through buttercream and bravery. But for now, I sliced into another red velvet cake, this one homemade. And I didn't wait for anyone else to serve me. Because this time I got the first bite. I thought the rooftop party was the ending. But the real twist? That came after. The Food Network gig got announced. My face, me, Layla from Kansas City, was on their homepage under a banner that read "Bakers who rewrote the recipe." My DMs exploded. But so did the whispers back home. I started getting texts from unknown numbers. "Hope you're enjoying the attention. You should have kept it private. Family doesn't need to be blasted online." The last one? From my mother? She didn't even say hi. Just that. No name, no love, just a reprimand, typed like I was still a child who'd forgotten to do the dishes. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I muted her number. A week later, I got an invitation, a physical one. Embossed, in gold. My cousin Kayla was throwing a reconciliation brunch. The address, her new condo in the suburbs. The RSVP included a note. "Let's put this behind us. Everyone will be there." Everyone, like it was a reward. I sat with it. For days. Until I realized if I went, I'd be walking back into a room full of people who were sorry they got caught, not sorry they left me hungry. I didn't go. But I sent something. A cake. 3 layers. Red velvet, of course. White icing, gold sprinkles. The top said, in delicate script, "Sorry, this slice isn't for you." No note, no name, no explanation. Let them wonder. Let them slice it open and taste what exclusion feels like. After that, things went quiet. They stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped pretending. I thought I'd feel grief. But all I felt was room. Room to build something new. Room to meet people who didn't expect me to shrink so they could shine. Room to breathe without apologizing. That month, I partnered with 3 local bakeries to do a charity series. First Slice Fridays. Every week, we delivered cakes to women's shelters, halfway houses, and support groups. People who knew what it meant to be left out, overlooked, erased. And every time, I wrote the same message on the box. "You deserve the first slice." The project went viral. Not because it was flashy, but because it was real. Then came the next email. This one from a woman named Jess, a producer at a documentary company that focused on food and healing. Her subject line? Have you ever thought about telling your story on camera? I hadn't. Not seriously. But I said yes. A few weeks later, I was sitting in a softly lit studio, cameras rolling, a plate of cake in front of me. And they asked, "What do you want people to understand about that night, your birthday?" I looked right into the lens. And I said, "That exclusion isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like everyone else getting a piece but you, and no one noticing." The room went still. The crew cried. When I got home that night, I checked the no slice for Layla page. One of the new messages read, "My mom forgot my birthday for the 5th year in a row, but I went and got myself a cupcake and ate it alone. It was the first time I didn't cry. Thank you for showing me how." I whispered to myself. You're not alone anymore. And neither was I. Because that's the truth. Nobody tells you when family betrays you. It's not about getting them back. It's about getting yourself back. The version of you who doesn't beg for crumbs. Who bakes your own cake. Who takes the first slice, smiles wide, and never ever looks back.